Hey guys, Brent Hull Build Show, starting a new project, a 1908 Italian revival house by a great architect. Going to be a lot of fun, a lot of things to fix. Come join me today in the Build Show. Okay guys, so Sanguinet and Stats, they are important regional architects like John Staub, but they were earlier. They were earlier in the 1900s. They did Thistle Hill, very famous house. We've had videos at before. This is Italian Revival, okay? It is a beautiful house. The architectural details are great. It was built for an important man. These stone columns, turned stone, limestone, solid limestone columns, right? Wow. The detailing and the architectural detailing right over the top of the columns, kind of acting like triglyphs. 1908 is kind of end of the, Victorian, beginning of this classical movement. So you see more of that stuff going on. It breaks away into two wings. So we have this central body and then these wings that break out. And on the back, there's been a bunch of additions that have been done to this house over the last 20 or 30 years that we're going to have to fix. But each owner has kind of added to this house. And so we're going to have to peel back some of that, get it back to its original roots. Let me take you around back and show you some of these additions. So about 40 or 50 years ago, this whole thing was added on, okay? And you can see there's a pillar that goes up here. You see that cut stone kind of belt course, kind of wainscot cap. This was a porte cochere, okay? So the porte cochere, remember that's one of my words, porte cochere. The cars would have driven through there, okay? But you'll see as we walk around the back side here that they've made a bunch of changes to this thing that's part of the additions. And you'll also notice that the additions aren't quite up to the level of detailing that was done here in 1908. We need to get back to those original details, and a lot of the things that we're gonna be fixing are kind of just tweaking architectural details. And if you watch my Wednesday videos on YouTube, you'll see me actually pencil over and draw what these details should look like, because oftentimes we're just missing just a little bit of a tweak on these things, and it changes these houses completely. But look what's going on here, okay? You've got the back of the original house with that beautiful eave going around, but then what is that stucco with the applied paneling over top of that window? What's going on there? That's the beginning of this new additions, these 1980s kind of fixes that have been done to this thing that just aren't up to the level of quality and detail that was done here originally. We've gone from cut stone to cast stone right here, right? And so the architectural detailing just isn't quite as pure. Little things, okay, but they matter when you see them, and you'll see them on the back side. Let me take you around back because it's pretty amazing. So we're in the backyard, and if I didn't tell you we're at that same house, you might not know it, right? This kind of looks a little bit McMansion-y, right? With the band across the top with kind of applied stucco. And the same thing here on this little, tower that runs up. Look where the columns are placed under that little addition there. It's just not architecturally right. And so it ends up looking cheaper back here, and that rich detail that we saw in the front just isn't seen here. And so over the coming weeks and months, we're gonna break down kind of what these things are and kind of how to fix these things, so this should be a lot of fun. But this is our new project. This is gonna be a lot of fun. They've kind of got a garden back here, a little bit of an Italian garden going on. There's some things we need to fix here, some things that are really great, but this is gonna be a fun project. So get ready, strap in. Next year or two is going to be a lot of fun. Now let's go inside. Okay, so we're in this grand hall, right? This is very grand from the outside. You walk in and it's grand. But this house has had over the years owners that tend to want to kind of turn up the decoration, or there was one story of an owner spray painting the crown in the back to look like it'd been gold leafed, right? Cheesy, right? And so if you look at this and look at kind of this decoration here, and we look at the decoration in the ceiling, none of that's original, okay? This is applied decoration that the last owner put on that's kind of unfortunate. And so this floor was originally a wood floor, okay? Not this marble. Now, marble's appropriate for an Italian house, but this isn't original. So, what do we do here? We've got all of this decoration, okay? Look at all this. Okay, we've got this flower swag, okay? We've got this little volute flower. Then we've got, this urn with the swag. What decoration detail is that? What is that typical of? Bueller Bueller, right? This is federal detailing. These are federal. That swag is a typical federal detail. So not really appropriate for, Italian revival house. And this decoration up top, because it's copied into every panel, it just ends up looking cheap. And so this last one, what we're going to do is we're actually going to peel back a lot of this decoration to get back to the original woodwork and original design, because this coffered ceiling is really rich. I mean, that is a rich coffered ceiling, but the decoration cheapens it and doesn't help. Then look back in here, and if you look at that cornice, right, where you've got that band that goes across, you've got a blank spot, and then you've got that coved crown, okay? Now, that coved crown is a French crown, okay? That's not how the Italians did crown. The French did it that way. Also, that carved band, okay, that is below that, just on top of the capitals, that is where the architrave goes. So if you're gonna do this, the carving in the band should go where the frieze goes, right? You got architrave, frieze, cornice. We'll break this out in a video and I'll kind of walk you through how you fix these things, but the columns, okay? That is what style capital is that? Yeah, it isn't any style, okay? It's looking to be like a composite capital. So the composite is a combination of Ionic and Corinthian, okay? So this just is not a very good one, okay? And so also look at the proportions, the height of that column to the capital, right? It's odd. And so we're gonna work on things and fix that. Also, where we're standing right now used to be outside. This was then closed in later. So interesting details that we'll have some fun fixing. Let me show you the kitchen. It needs a lot of work. So walking in off the dining room, there's this butler's pantry, kind of a secondary kitchen, because the main kitchen's actually in here. There's things that we put in our house that clearly date it, right? This is a dated kitchen, right? This is a kitchen that, looks like a Clive Christian copy that is not right. Now, what would a 1908 kitchen been like? It would have been a worker's area, right? So it wouldn't have been elevated with stained gray cabinets. But what we're going to try to do is take some of the cabinets that are in other parts of the house that are original and use those as design details, get rid of all this stained, walnut or mahogany, whatever it is, and really bring this, room back to kind of its historic appeal. This view that they've got across the back side is awesome, right? And so the sunlight's awesome. This is a western exposure, so they're going to spend a lot of time in here, but we've got to fix this kitchen, just make it look like it belongs in the house. It looks like we're up in, Frisco at a McMansion, right? We need something that's going to be appropriate to this house, so we're going to fix this. Okay, so what do you think of the bathroom? The dome chandelier, right? The faux dome in here. The Corinthian capitals that go right up to the ceiling, no beam, right? All the cardinal sins of what not to do. Look at this cornice. Now, this cornice is actually laid out okay as far as, Corona and everything else. The problem is, it's a huge cornice. That's a cornice that go on the outside of a building, right? Not in a 9-foot ceiling, right? The other thing about that you don't know is it's foam. It's foam. It's freaking foam. I'm going to take a piece down and show you guys later. That's gross, right? We shouldn't do that. Stop building like that. Stop doing that. And here's what's happened in this house is they were like, well, what's the nicest column? It's a Corinthian column. Well, I want a Corinthian column. Well, what's the nicest crown? This crown, And so they're chasing after these decorative things, and they're forgetting kind of the beauty, symmetry, and all the other things that should happen in this space, because this is a little bit of a train wreck in here with the swan tub and things like that. They've spent money, okay, but it now looks dated and cheap. We're out here and this is the magic, right? You look out back here, you see how beautiful this view is looking out west. It's gorgeous. A big storm just came in, really fun to watch it. Here's the difference between the past and, the bad things that we're doing. Look at this eave detail, okay? You've got a decorative rafter tail that supports your gutter there, which is really pretty. But look at this, okay? And if you want to see the difference between how we used to build versus how we build, look at the brackets and the eaves and the paneling underneath there versus this. That's our goal, right? That's so beautiful. There's great detail in there. It's organized, it's balanced, okay? And this is just, well, I don't know what to do with it. Let's put stucco on it and panelize it out, right? And so we're not really thinking about, building beautifully anymore. We're kind of thinking about covering things up. And so we're going to go back to building beautiful. We're going to go back to kind of making those things right. But just to hear in 30 feet, I can point to the difference of the past versus the new and how we got to up our game and make things better. All right, guys, great lessons from the past, right? Great lessons of how to build beautiful again. Well, that's what we chase after, right? Is how to build beautifully again, how to get those details right. If you want to know more about this, you can go to my Patreon page, Patreon Passion for Craft. Go to the journeyman level, and I'm dropping every Tuesday scans and files, curated stuff from my library so that we can learn to build like this. In fact, there's a great detail on gutters that I'm going to show, this integrated gutter design that used to be a part of historic building, which isn't anymore. So we're going to go back and try to make that better. But this is going to be a fun one because we have clear view of how we used to build and the things that we need to fix to make this house so much better. I'm Brent Hull. Thanks for watching.